All right, Shalom family. This is your brother Kazakia. This is the Shabbat. This is the seventh day. And I want to give a message. We just had the presidential election, and I shared a little something earlier this week, but I want to kind of give you something according to what the scripture says. This is a prophecy of things to come for the end time. Now, a lot of people believe that since we have a new president, that the president's coming and he's going to make everything wonderful, and that America's going to be great again, and all of that, and so forth. And it's going to be hunky dory. You know, the lion will lay down with the lamb, and the snakes will play with the rats, and life is going to be wonderful, right? Okay, we're going to show you that that's not going to happen. None of that is true. It's not going to happen. The prophecy has already been spoken, and so this prophecy is spoken out of the mouth of the prophet Daniel in the second chapter. And my lovely bride is going to read for me, Bronte, in the second chapter. And shalom to Dora and to James. Thanks for joining us. And we're going to just be very brief, and we're gonna read this, and then we're going to close it out. So Daniel chapter 2, we're going to start at verse. Those of you that have your scriptures, open up your scriptures for just 5-10 minutes maybe with us and go over this. These are things that are coming in America first, which is a part of the world. Okay. Now, King Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and in his dream he dreamed some things, and he needed to get the interpretation of the dream. So who did he call for? He called for the prophet Daniel. And Daniel interprets that dream. Okay, so starting at verse 30, Daniel chapter 2, verse 31.
Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible.
Okay, so now let me just pause for a second. So Daniel had a dream, and he couldn't sleep. You know, many times we you know, the Most High deals with us, and we can't sleep. We just toss and turn. So he had a dream, but he couldn't understand what was going on. So just kind of bring you up to speed. So what happened was he called for all of the magicians and soothsayers to interpret his dream, and they couldn't interpret his dream. So he had them all killed. Then he called for the prophet of Yah, who was the prophet Daniel, to interpret the dream. Daniel came under with humility and said, I'm not a prophet. I'm not going to tell you that I know that I have coffee with the Most High. But I'm going to come humble. I'm going to seek the Most High and ask Him to give me the interpretation of this dream so I can explain to you. Because Daniel understood that if he didn't interpret his dream, that he was going to die, just like the false soothsayer, the prophets of Nebu, who was the deity in Babylon. Okay, now we clear that up. Let's continue on the next verse.
This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king.
Okay, now he's going to give the full interpretation. So this basically what the prophet Daniel saw was he saw the kingdoms that rule the whole earth from the time of King Nebuchadnezzar all the way up until the time of the end upon the return of the Messiah, Yahshua, when he prophesied that he would come back again. He came the first time, who the world calls Jesus, but his name is Yahshua. He said that he came, right, to usher in the kingdom, but first he said, I got to die first, and then I'm going to come again, and I'm going to restore the kingdom, right? So they slew him, they hung him on a tree. And so he prophesied that he would take over the governments of the world, and he didn't do that when he was here. Okay, but now he said when he comes back the second time, he's going to do that. So now Daniel's going to interpret. He's going to go through all of history and show you all the kingdoms who ruled up until the time of the second coming of the Messiah. Now let's go to the interpretation of that. Okay.
Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the Elohim of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Gold.
So the first king, the first world ruler right here, according to the Bible, Babylon was the first kingdom. Right? So what happened is that the Most High spoke through the mouth of the prophet Daniel to tell King Nebuchadnezzar, we don't want to break down his name because his name really means one who sees, Nebu, the prophet, who sees for Nebu, the deity, right, to bring the people, Chad, to bring the people together, right, to make them Netzar, to make them what? Messengers for the deity Nebu. Okay, that's a whole nother story. That's a whole long process, but we won't go into detail. All right, so now he was that head, right? So the Most High used him. The Most High raised him up for the purpose of what? It's all about the children of Israel, brothers and sisters. The true children of Israel. And I don't want to go off into a whole nother lesson on that, but we have got the people mixed up. We're looking at a people who we call the true children of Israel when the prophecies is about the true children of Israel. So when you put the wrong people in the place of being the people of prophecy, then you're going to mess up the whole thing. Everything is off sequence. Okay? So the true children of Israel are not the people who we have been accustomed to train to believe are the children of Israel. The true children of Israel are the people that the Most High said will go into captivity to the four corners of the earth. And there's only one people that went into captivity in slave ships to the four corners of the earth. Those are the children of Israel. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 39.
So the king is the king Nebuchadnezzar is the head of gold. Okay, verse 39.
And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth.
Okay, now let me stop there. So after King Nebuchadnezzar, if those of you that are history people, that understand history, that have studied history, that love history like I do, we understand that the next kingdom after King Nebuchadnezzar was lost the power of being the world ruler, the next kingdom was the Medes and the Persians, right? He said that another kingdom would come that would be inferior to you. So the Medes and the Persians are the same people today that we would classify as Arab nations. Okay? They lost their power of rulership, and they've been fighting to get it back. That's the reason why I just want to kind of just throw this out there while I'm there. That's the reason why most people want to kill the Arab nations, because these people are in prophecy. They're coming back to fight against these nations because they was overthrown. But in prophecy, the Medes and the kingdom of Medes are coming back. That's why they want to destroy them, because in prophecy, they're the ones that's going to defeat, that's going to lead the battle, I should say, of nations together in what they call the battle of Armageddon, what we would like to call World War III. Okay, they're going to lead that. They're the ones that's going to initiate that. You got Russia that's coming around the corner. Putin is involved. They're all involved in that, and they are coming together for the great battle. That's going to be the battle just before the return of the Messiah. Right? Okay, let's continue.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron.
Wait a minute, hold on for a second. So we said the second kingdom that come after Nebuchadnezzar was the Medes and Persians, right? Then after the Medes and Persians, he said another kingdom would be the kingdom of, what was that? The kingdom of brass, right?
Yes.
So that was the Greek. So following history now, after the Mede and Persian time of world control came the Greeks. Alexander came, Philip of Macedonia's son, came from Macedonia. He conquered the known world and became the world rulership. That's the kingdom of the brass. Okay. Then after the kingdom of brass, verse 40, the fourth kingdom comes.
And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise.
Okay, now stop there. So that fourth kingdom, which is the Roman Empire, right? Now the Romans did something that was very powerful, that was more powerful than what any other kingdom did. And what did they do? They colonized the lands, right? They didn't go in there and drive the inhabitants out, right? Babylon did that. The Median Persians did that. The Greeks did that. But the Romans came on the scene and said, you know what? We're going to let them stay in their land. But what we're going to do, we're going to put our government in the land, and we're going to allow the people to be governed by the government of Rome. Thus you had, what's his name? The ruler of Israel, Herod. Herod was placed in power. So what they did was they took a non-Israelite, made him the king over the land of Israel, right? So he ruled over Israel as a king that was not related to the nation of Israel, right? So now this whole thing is about Israel. So Israel kept going under the captivity of other rulership. So as we look at this whole prophecy, this is about Israel. Every one of these captivities, Israel went under a government of another people, Babylonian government, right? Medo-Persian government, right? We went under the Greek government, right? Went under the Roman government, right? Now we're going to continue, right? So we're in verse 41 now.
And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron. For as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay.
Now stop there. So now, after the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire, the great fall of, you can go and Google the fall of the Roman Empire, Rome fell. When Rome fell, right, that opened the door to what's called the Dark Ages, right, where there were, historically, there were 10 tribes. They called the 10 barbaric Germanic tribes, right, which formed the Anglo-Saxons, which gave us the formation of the Kingdom of Britain, or what we call Mother England, which is where we got our language that I'm speaking to you right now. English came from the Anglos and the Saxons. They are the 10 toes that mixed with the Roman Empire. It said it mixed the iron with the miry clay. But it says that, read that verse 41 again.
The entire verse.
I'll read it. Whereas thou saw the feet and toes part of potter's clay. So the toes are the 10 nations that are potter's clay, right? That is what the prophet called the terrible of the nations, right? They mixed with the Romans, right? So you had a mixed breed of people that came together to form Mother England, which became now the new world power, right? And then it says that the kingdom was divided. So what happened was the kingdom divided itself between the papacy and the royalty. See what I'm saying? So out of the development of the papacy came the Christian church. Right? The original Christian church started way back in Rome. Okay? And before Rome, Christian church. Actually, let me go back further than that. I got to correct myself. The Christian church started in Egypt because Egyptians were the first sun worshipers. That's what Christianity is, sun worship. It's a revamped sun worship. I know some of y'all don't like that, but that's the reality of the matter. That's what it is. Why is all the days changed? Why is the Sabbath day changed to Sunday? Because the ancient Egyptians worshiped Ra, who was the sun, right? Everything was based on the solar structure. Right? So when the Greeks went into Egypt, right, and they saw the land, they went and studied the culture and the religion of the Egyptians, and they embraced it and they Hellenized it, and they formed a new variation of a Hellenistic version of it, which became known as Roman Catholicism. Right? at the universal religion. So what they did first, they fought during the time when the Messiah came, and the people started traveling into Europe and evangelizing them into the covenant of the Hebrews. They was killing them at first, and they realized that this is a powerful movement. So what we're going to do, we're going to embrace this thing, right? And when we embrace this thing, we're going to put a label on it. We're going to call it Christianity to strengthen the empire, right? Now, that's what they did. So they embraced it because each era of time, each religious power enforced their religious views and doctrine on the people that they govern and rule, starting with Babylon, Medes and Persians, then the Greeks, right? Then the Romans took their spin of what the Greeks had did, and they put their spin on. That's where you got the Roman Catholic version of the sun worship, okay? Then we went into the Mother Church, which became the New Age Mother Church, Mother England, which gave us the King James Bible, 1611, okay? From that point, I'm going to pick right up here. So, in verse 42. Daniel chapter 2, verse 42. All right, and so we talk about the 10 toes. The 10 toes are those Germanic tribes that form England or the Anglo-Saxon. So verse 42.
And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay,
Mm-hmm.
they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another.
See that? So anybody know anything about the Dark Ages of year know that they fought each other. There's a guy named Tim Wise. He did a real good video breakdown of that. He talked about how that the Europeans didn't like each other. They was fighting each other. All those barbaric tribes, the Vandals, the Jutes, the Saxons, the Anglos, and the Jutes, they were all fighting each other. They didn't like each other. But what they did was they got together with the one common denominator. They all had white skin. So that's where they formed this black versus white thing, which is all a smokescreen. The Most High don't see black and white. He sees tribes and nations and tongues, right? Every tribe is not the same. Every black person is not the same. Every so-called African is not the same. You got different countries in Africa. And you have North Africa, you got South Africa, you got Central Africa, you got the East Africa, you got the West Africa, and they all are not the same, right? So just like in Europe, you have Russians, you have Germans, you have Polish, you have French, you have Spanish, and so forth. They all not the same. But see what happened in this particular era, because they got against the children of Israel, right? They made an alliance against the children of Israel. Say, okay, so we're gonna make a smoke screen. We're gonna call it black versus white, and that's what they did, right? And so now we're here to the 10 tribes, right? The 10 tribes. The 10 Germanic tribes that formed the last captivity, which is the primary language of today, which is where we get the American rulership from, which is the children of Israel, are now governed by the world power, the superpower of the world called the United States of America. Okay? Now let's go to verse, you read verse 42?
43.
43 now, okay.
Not all of it. Let me see. But they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay.
Right. See that? So, like I was saying, all Europeans are not the same. So they don't all mix. Because if you really, I'm gonna give you a quick testimony. I worked in corporate America when I was in Chicago, and I had a coworker who was married to. She was Polish, and she was married to a Russian. And she was explaining to me that the Russians were so different from the Polish people. She was having constant battles in her home with her husband because he was Russian and she was Polish. And they couldn't get along. I'm like, well, I thought all white people got along. No, he's a Russian, and Russians are savages. That's what she was saying. And she said, we're Polish and we're more civilized. That kind of thing, right? So all of the people, just because they have what's quote unquote white skin, does not mean they think alike. When you look at us so-called African Americans and blacks, we don't think like African people. They look at us like we crazy. We strange to them because we don't think the way they think. We don't act the way they act, right? Our whole mentality is totally different, right? We're still people of color, quote unquote black, but we are not the same. Right? We're not the same. All right. Now, verse 44.
And in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
See that? So the kingdom, the Messiah is coming to destroy, to break to pieces all the kingdoms. He's not going to let the United States stand. The United States is going down with the rest of them. And it's not coming back, he said. Read that again, because somebody's not reading in this. Let's read it. I'm going to tell you where it is so you can see it. Don't think this is not a trick Bible, okay? This is coming right straight from the King James Bible, okay? Daniel chapter 2, read that verse again.
And in the days of these kings.
In the days of these kings. What kings? All of them kings that came, including America. Go ahead.
Shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people.
That's right.
But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever.
So it's going to break into pieces all the kingdoms, brothers and sisters. America is coming down. Down, brother. It ain't going up. Donald Trump is not going to make this country great again. It's going down. The Most High said, I don't care if Hillary Clinton got it. And this country is not going to be great again because the prophet said that it's going down. The Most High is going to break it to pieces and set up his kingdom, right? That shall never, never, ever end. It shall stand forever. Hallelujah. A righteous kingdom that's based on true righteousness, not on religiosity. Right? Based on true righteousness. Go ahead.
For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold, the great Elohim hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure.
Now, that's what the Most High said. So I don't care what Donald Trump said. I don't care what I used to be in this movement called 9/11 Truth. We're going to take the kingdom back. We're going to. America's great. We're going to restore the. But America's not going to be restored. First of all, let's back up for a second and say, where is America going to be restored to? When was ever America great?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's the thing we got to ask the question to. Mr. Trump, as a prophet of Yah, I'm saying to you, when was America ever great?
From the foundation, it was messed up.
America was formed and founded from the beginning off of lies, right? The prophet Jeremiah said, I don't want to go there because it's supposed to be a short presentation. But the prophet Yahweh said, in that day when the Most High come to judge the nation, he said, the Gentiles shall come in that day and shall say, our fathers have inherited lies, right? What happened? They came into this country, right? And they stole a land that was already inhabited by people that was already here, right? Then they passed policies. They colonized the land, Mother England style, which they got it from their mother, Rome. They colonized the land, put their government here, put the people under oppression, put them in concentration camps, put them in prison, and created laws to keep them from coming back to taking over what was already theirs. They killed them, right? They interrogated them, right? They imprisoned them, right? They passed policies that they could not keep. Same as in the American government today, right? They passing policies and laws and rules and regulations to do what? To keep the true children of Israel oppressed. Right? And the Most High, in the days of the king, right? The Most High is fed up. Right? All of the movements that we have formed, Black Lives Matter, none of them have been successful, have they? They're not going to be, because the Most High is the one that's going to judge the nations for what they've done to his heritage. Let's go right quickly, and I'm going to close out here. I promise you this will be it. Let's go to Joel chapter 3, all right? Joel chapter 3, and we're going to show you this is why the Most High this is the reason why Marcus Garvey, bless his heart, Martin Luther King, and all of the good that they have done, praise God for the goods that they have done, but that still, we have not been repaired. We have not had reparations. We have not been given the things that our people built in this land, right? So this is what the Most High is going to do, because he said, I got to pay my people back for what the heathens, what the nations have done to my heritage, okay? So Joel chapter 3, verse 1. All right, those of you that have your Bibles, in Shabbat Shalom, Moray, Josiah, Joshua, hallelujah, heard wise. All right, Joel chapter 3, verse 1.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
Okay, stop right there. So the Most High said he's going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Now, stop for a second before we continue further, right? The so-called African Americans was taken into captivity, right? Am I right?
Yes.
We were taken. We were brought into America to be friends, right?
Mm-mm.
Alliances.
Mm-mm.
No.
Never.
Partners.
Nope.
Captive. Slaves.
Yep.
We were brought in here to be slaves. 3/5 of a man. Okay. So the Most High said, "I'm going to bring the captivity." A person who is a captive, a person who was captured, who was seized, taken against their will, snatched up out of their land, brought to another land to be 3/5 of a man, to build a country, and then have policies passed so that you cannot excel. Right? All right? So the Most High said, I'm going to bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Okay, go ahead. Verse 2.
I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Okay, now stop right there. So now, this is what the Most High said. He's going to gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now, I mentioned earlier, why is it that the American government have a hatred towards the Islamic lands? They call them the terrorists because why? They're in prophecy to lead the war of the nations against each other. I could go to another province and show you where the Most High said, I'm going to raise up the kings of the Medes. That's who they are. They're the kings of they're coming back, brothers and sisters. You can't kill them because they're in prophecy. They're going to lead this national war. They're going to lead this this global war, right? To usher in the return of the Messiah, right? So he said, the Most High said, I'm going to bring all nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Now stop for a second. Where is the valley of Jehoshaphat? Isn't that in Israel? Mm-hmm. So why is everybody all so concerned about Israel? Right? Because the Most High said, Israel is a land that my people, I had driven them out the land. Although we might have a couple of Israelites that came back into the land that's still there now, but the masses of Israel have been scattered to the four corners. And everybody wants that land because why? They know it belongs to us. Right? So the Most High said, I'm going to bring all the nations to the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I'm gonna King James says plead, but brothers and sisters, Most High ain't plead. He ain't begging nobody nothing. The Most High said, I am going to do what? I'm going to judge. That's what Shaphat means in Hebrew. I'm going to judge all nations, right? He's going to judge them. Okay, go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink.
They cast lots, right? For the children of Israel. And they sold them for a bottle of wine and for a harlot, right? And Most High calls us his heritage. That's why he's going to judge the nations. Because we've never been able to get reparations. So our reparations is going to come. Not from the U.S. government, not from the United Nations, not from Rome, not from Italy, not from France, Russia, or whoever. The reparations is going to come from the Most High. And he's going to pay him, seriously pay him. We're going to get paid. We're going to get all of our stuff. Talk about what Christianity said, I'm getting my stuff back. We're going to get all our stuff and we're going to get their stuff. All right, go ahead.
Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head.
So now stop. So somebody asked, well, brother, what is? I was having a conversation, and this is the Gentile brother. He said, "What do you expect from the white people?" I don't expect nothing from you. The Most High, right here, says, He says, "What have you to do with me, O Tyre?" You know, we was taken in America on the Spanish ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the whatchamacallit. You know, at Tyre and Sidon, right? We went right from Egypt. He said, "You shall go back into Egypt, and then from there shall it be sold." Right? Shall go back to Egypt in ships, and from there shall you be sold to your enemies. Think about it. Egypt symbol is the eagle. The United States symbol is the eagle, right? The eagle is the predator. He's preying off of dead things. So most African Americans that are not consciously aware that you're Israel, you are prey for the eagle. All right. So he said, "What have you with me, O Tyre and Sidon, and all the coasts of the Philistia or the Palestine?" So the seafaring people, brothers, I don't want to go into too much detail, but the seafaring people were the ones that sponsored the sea trade. That's how we got transported into the interior of the North African regions, right, through ships. We got transported all the way from the land of Israel, called the Mesopotamia, the Aram Naharim, or the land between the rivers. We was transported all the way over to Spain, right? And Morocco, North Africa, and into the Saharan, right? Via the transatlantic, called the trans-Saharan slave trade, okay? All right, so he said that the Most High said, so what I expect from you is, he said, will you render me recompense? And if you recompense me. So the Most High is saying, you repay me, not pay the children of Israel. Because when you repay me, I'm the one that's going to repay the children of Israel. You can't pay us for what you've done to us. Only the Most High can pay us. You pay back the Most High what you have stolen, which is everything. You got to give up the land. You got to give up the resources. You got to give up everything. All the Fortune 500 corporations were built off of the oppression and off of the talents and the abilities of the children of Israel. And the Most High said, you pay me back recompense. He said, you pay me back recompense. He says, and if you recompense me swiftly, he said, you pay me back quickly. And as they say in Christian church, Lord loves a cheerful giver. You give back to the Most High cheerfully all the things that you stole. You pay me back swiftly, cheerfully, right? And speedily, he says, and I will return your recompense upon your head. In other words, so when you pay back what you stole, I'm going to pay you for your generosity. That's what the Most High is saying. All right. Verse 5.
Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly, pleasant things.
Stop there. So they took the silver, the gold, and carried it into their temples of Zeus. That's what they did. And they had built mega monstrosity religious systems off of the silver and gold of the children of Israel, which belong to the Most High. That's what he's saying. You had took the silver and the gold into your temples, and my goodly, pleasant thing. You even took the way in which I had trained the children of Israel to worship me. You took that into your temples too. You stole the ideas and the concepts of worship from the children of Israel and took it into your temples. All right, go ahead.
The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border.
See? So the Grecians are the sons of Yavan, which are the seafaring people, which confirms what we just said earlier. They took the children of Israel and sold them to the seafaring Tyre, the Greek people, the sea people, to allow the sea people to profit. And the most major profit in America was the Black Wall Street, which was the profit off of the selling of children of Israel, who they called slaves. Do some history. Research that. You find out the first commodity in Wall Street was the so-called African slaves. All right. So the children of Israel, he said, you have sold them to the Greeks, and that you might remove them from their borders. Right. Okay. Now watch what he says here. This is what's happened. This is Black Lives Matter. Hands up. Don't shoot. This is what has come. This is why these movements are breaking out, because of this next verse here. Okay, verse 7.
Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
See that? Right now, what's happening is Israel are being raised up to a level of awareness. The knowledge is coming back. Okay, why are we here? How do we get here? Why do people hate us? Why? I'm black. I'm black. That's the beginning of that, but it's not because we black. It's because we're Israel. Is why we're reaping the persecution, because all that was prophesied through the mouth of the prophet, right? So he said, then I will raise him up. So the first raising up is stop and becoming aware of what's going on. What do we have in common? Why aren't the Africans reaping the same judgment that we are reaping? You ever stop?
The same people.
Huh?
If they are supposedly the same people.
Right. You don't see the police brutality with African people. You see it with African American people. Right? You see the police brutality with the African American people, not with the Africans. Why? Because we're not the same people, right?
That's right.
All right. So he said, I will raise them up out of the places where you have sold them. So everywhere we was sold, he said, I'm going to raise them up. They're being raised to a level of awareness. There's a new terminology now that has crossed the globe called the conscious community. Different people are at different levels of what they call conscious, but we are waking up and realizing, hey, there's something to this thing. You know, there's something about us. Why people want to always keep their foot on us and keep their foot on our neck and keep us down. That's prophecy too. Moses said they will keep their foot on your neck. Right? So, because they realize that you are the children of Israel. They know that. They know who you are. They ain't going to tell you that. Okay? All right, next verse. So, the Most High said He's going to raise them up. So, those that don't recompense the Most High back, this is what's going to happen to you. All right, verse 8.
And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yah have spoken it.
So, just like the nations have sold the children of Israel, a.k.a. African Americans, Negroes, blacks, colors, whatever you want to call us, he said, after I raise them up, they're going to sell your sons and your daughters into. He says, I will. The Most High. Let me correct myself. The Most High say He's going to sell their sons and daughters into the hands of the children of Judah. Why? Because you are going to be our employee. We're going to be the Fortune 500 companies, and you're going to be our employees. You're going to get the low-end jobs at the bottom of the totem pole. We're not going to treat you like you treated us. We're going to do you fairly and just. Okay? Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Lacey. Go ahead. Verse, where we at?
9.
Verse 9.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
So that's what the Most High is doing. So He is raising up. Whoo! Well, I'm telling you, he's making those of us who are Israelites who are fearful. He's waking us up to a militant mindset to where we are not afraid, right? But we are ready, right? Because in one of the prophets, he said, Israel is my battle axe. He said, with you, I will break the pieces of the nations, right? Remember when the prophet, the Most High said that he's going to take the stone that was going to come, it was going to break, scatter the other kingdoms, right? He said, I'm going to do that through the children of Israel. We're going to break your pride, right? You're proud right now, right? The one that you call your slave is going to be the one that's going to be your superior. That's breaking you. When the person that you think is beneath you now is your superior, that's a break. Wouldn't you say?
Yes.
He said, I'm going to break the pieces with Israel. I'm going to break the nations. That's literal. He's going to break them spiritually, emotionally, financially, and physically. Break the nations. All right. So he said, proclaim this among the Gentiles. Let them know. So we proclaim this among the Gentiles right here on Facebook.com. All right, go ahead.
Beat your plowshares into swords,
Beat them in the
and
swords.
your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
That's right, be strong.
Assemble yourselves, and come, all ye heathen,
Uh-huh.
and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yah.
Mm-hmm.
Let the heathen be awakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
You coming.
For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Woo!
Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get ye down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yah is near in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining.
That's right.
Yah also shall roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yah will be the hope of his people, and the strength of his children Israel.
Hallelujah.
So shall ye know that I am Yah, your Elohim, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall be no strangers passing through her anymore.
I'll stop there. See that? He said, then, see, Jerusalem is not the holy city right now.
Right.
It is the corrupt city, brothers and sisters. Right? But he said, then Jerusalem shall be holy. Right? And no strangers. Right? Because that's what's happening right now is strangers is passing through the land. Right? It's become a cesspool of devils. But he says it's going to be called, it's going to be holy. It's going to be a holy land. He says, and the strangers will no longer pass through her anymore. Right? Now, go ahead to the next verse.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters. And a fountain shall come forth of the house of Yah, and shall water the valley of Shittim. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness, for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yah dwelleth in Zion.
Hallelujah. So that concludes the reading of that. So that's what's coming, brothers and sisters. What's coming to America is judgment. Not reparation, not make America great again. America is going down. It's not going to be great again. So what we're doing in these lands of captivity right now, we're just praying, saying, Yah, have mercy, right? Because the children of Israel are still in these lands, right? So we want the Most High to have mercy and to protect us while we're here, because we know judgment is coming. He spoke it and said it's coming, and it's going to come, brothers and sisters. There's no other way around it. It's coming. Judgment is coming. It's coming.
Get raptured out of here.
We're not going to be raptured up into heaven, as Maisha just said. We're going to be right here, right? Judgment is coming to America soon. Where's the camera at? soon. It's coming to a theater near you. It's coming to a land near you. Judgment is coming. So it behooves us that are Israelites that we've got to be on the Most High side. Return to that covenant. Open up that book. Open up that book. Return. Deuteronomy 30 says that. Let me read Deuteronomy 30, and then I'm going to close this down because I can't leave you on that note. I got to leave you on the good note. So Deuteronomy 30, when he says that I will raise up the children of Israel out of the lands where you sent them, this is how he's raising up the children of Israel in the lands that where the Most High sent us, right? Okay, so Deuteronomy 30, okay, we're going to read just a few of these verses here. So we letting you know why. People have asked the question I never really answered, and people have never really asked me directly. You know, brother, you was a Christian pastor and you was in the church and all that. You left and now you talking about some Hebrew Israelite stuff. What happened to you, brother? I'm going to tell you. This is going to explain to you what happened to me. Right? All right, Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 1.
And it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yah thy Elohim hath driven thee.
See that? So what's happening is, he says, when all these things come upon us, and the blessings and the cursing, because you got some Hebrew Israelites that are wealthy in the lands of captivity. Look at Oprah Winfrey. Look at Tyler Perry. Look at even some of the Christian pastors are wealthy. You know, T.D. Jakes and Creflo Dollar. These people got money. But money doesn't equate to righteousness. That's a whole nother lesson. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he said, the blessings and the curses shall be upon thee. He said, and thou shalt call them to mind in the nations where Yah have driven thee. So we were driven into these lands, brothers and sisters. And then watch verse 2. Watch what he says in verse 2.
And shalt return unto Yah thy Elohim, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul.
See that? So now they're telling us, we're not under the law, brother. We're saved by grace. You know, that was nailed to the tree. That's not what the Most High is saying. He's saying that thou shalt return, right, and shalt obey his voice according to all that he command. His commandments are not nailed to the tree. And see, the oppressor, the governments that we're under want us to worship their deity, which says we're in a New Testament of grace, to keep the children of Israel in bondage and in judgment from the Most High for being disobedient. So when he says, where we're in these lands where we were driven, and we return to obey his voice according to all that he command, he says, your children, right, with all your heart and all your soul. We're not looking for loopholes, right? Everything the Most High said for us to do, we're going to do. Why? Because we're looking to be taken out of this captivity. You're not looking through the Bible. Can I do this? We're looking to do all. He says, observing to do. He says that we shall obey his voice and according to all that he command this day. All, not just part, all. Okay? So when we do that part, this is what happened. This is what he promised to us in verse 4. Verse 3. Verse 3.
Then Yah thy Elohim will turn thy captivity and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither Yah thy Elohim have scattered thee.
See that? So when we return to the Most High, that's why we constantly preaching. That's why we get these people that's talking about we're not under the law. We so quick, man. We will invade a conversation to show you we are under the law. We're gonna always be under the law, right? Because we want to remind Israel that it's because of breaking the law that got us in this captivity. So to get us out of the captivity, we got to obey the Most High to get us out of the captivity, right? So he said that when we return, that he will then turn our captivity. right? He will return us from the lands of our captors, from our enemy's land. America is our enemy's land, brothers and sisters. It's not our home. You know, people, oh, I love America. I'm an American. Right. That is false. You are an American citizen. I agree with that part, but America is not your home. It is your enemy's land. See that? America is your enemy's land. That's what the Most High said. Not me. All right, let's continue.
If any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yah thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee.
Mm-hmm.
And Yah thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers.
See that? So that's when the reparation is coming from the Most High. Right? He's going to gather us and bring us into the land which our fathers possessed, which is the land of Israel. That is our heritage. People say, well, brother, what's your nationality? You African American? No. No. As Tyler Perry said, hell to the no. I'm a Hebrew. That's my nationality. I'm a Hebrew. I tell people all the time, they ask me, what's your nationality? I'm not African American. What's your nationality? I'm a Hebrew. Specifically, Hebrew Israelite. I'm not an African American. Don't get it twisted. And don't ever make that mistake again. Oh, I understand. Don't ever make that mistake again. I know who I am. You might not agree, and you might not accept that who I am, but I know who I am. I'm a Hebrew Israelite, right? That's my nationality. Not my religion. I don't have a religion. I have a way of life, which is obeying the Father and all He commands. That's what my religion is. Doing what the Father say do. All right, go ahead. This became a 5-minute, became a 55-minute. All right, go ahead. We're gonna read a couple more verses, and I'm gonna end it up.
And Yah thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart and the heart of thy seed, to love Yah thy Elohim with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live.
See that? So, love is not a new command, brothers. People always say, love is a new commandment. We under the new commandment of love. Love has always been, the Most High has always been telling Israel, love me, love me, love me. Love your neighbor. Love, love. Right? That's not something that's just started in the New Testament. Okay, go ahead.
And Yah thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
Read that one more time.
And Yah thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee,
One
which
more time.
persecuted thee. And Yah thy Elohim will put all these curses
on your
upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee.
So listen, let me stop. If you hate me, the Most High said, He gonna put all those curses on you. I didn't say it. It's in the book. He said, if you hate me. So that means if you are anti-Shemitic, if you are anti-Hebrew Israelite, anti-quote-unquote African-American and black, he says what? He's going to put all the curses on you. See that? He's going to put all the curses on enemies, on them that not hate the Most High, hate thee or us. So you hate me, Most High said, I'm going to put all the curses on you. That's heavy, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I never looked at it like that, but the Most High said, you hate the children of Israel, I'm going to put all the curses on you. So the people that say Black Lives Matter, the ones that are of other ethnic groups, they smart. They don't really realize that they are in prophecy by saying Black Lives Matter. They're not complete with what they're saying. What they should be saying is Hebrew Israelite lives matter. The children of Israel lives matter is what really matters, right? And when they understand that, Then the Most High it said what? He said, I'm going to take the curses, and the ones that don't, the ones that hate the children of Israel, I'm going to throw all the curses that came on the children of Israel, poverty, sickness and disease, oppression, all of that. He said, I'm just going to blow it on you. Because you hate the children of Israel. You hate. Brother, let that go. Black and white. No. I can't let it go because the Creator said he ain't going to let it go. People say, forget the past, brother, forget the past. You can't forget the past because the Most High said he ain't going to forget. He said he will repay. Right? So he said, I'm going to end right there. So he said he will put all those curses on the enemies. And let's just read the last verse 8, and I'll end it right there.
And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yah, and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got to read verse 9, didn't you? Okay.
And Yah thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy land for good. For Yah will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers.
See that? That's it. So I'm going to end there. My 5-minute presentation ended up to be probably about a 55-minute. I don't know how long I was, but that's what happens on the Shabbat, brothers. This is when we get into the book, time just goes away. So I pray that I shared something that will prick your heart, that will make you dig a little deeper and think. Those that are not aware that secretly will be viewing this and not make your presence known. But if you want to understand the big picture, right, look at the book and identify who the true children of Israel are, and you will understand the times we're in today, and you will understand that America is not going to be great again, okay? It's not going to be repaired. It's not going to be redeemed, but Israel is going to be judged. The true children of Israel will be set free, reinstated back to the land of nativity, which is Israel, and we will reign from Jerusalem with the King and the Savior of the world, that the anointed of the Most High Yah, Yahshua the Messiah. Until the next time, may the blessings of the Most High Yah be with you and your family. Shalom.
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 I forget how to end this video. Where's the stop button? I'll finish.